Hello guys, how are you my friends? So today I am going to tell you that how can you master Hanzo, which is a different kind of DPS and often requires a more strategic approach. So in this video we're gonna talk about his abilities and then important tips for Hanzo, so let's start. As a sniper, Hanzo should obviously be as far away from the action as he can be while still getting off a clean shot. His slightly arcing arrows are hard to land but deal good damage to the body and fatal damage to the head unless the target is one of the best tanks in the game. Playing Hanzo is a mix of hit and run and probing. Hanzo can make it so he sees around corners. He can use this information to stay out of sight, get behind or to the side of teams, then fire off some intelligent shots and run away before his opponents can react. Let's talk about his abilities. Stormbow, Hanzo's main weapon. Pressing and holding the primary fire button will cause Hanzo to draw the bow back. Releasing the primary fire button will fire a projectile arrow from the bow. The damage and range of the arrow depends on how long the primary fire button was held down, up to a maximum amount. You can press the secondary fire button at any time to drop the shot without firing an arrow. The arrows from Stormbow can headshot, greatly increasing the damage they deal. You should try to aim for headshots if your enemy is either stationary or moving in a predictable way. Otherwise, aim for body shots. The arrows travel in a slight arc. Be sure to compensate for this at longer distances by aiming slightly above your target. Try to always charge your shots fully before firing. You should only quick knock, press and immediately release the primary fire button, if it will guarantee you a kill. This is typically only done at close range when combined with a quick melee attack. And next ability is wall climb, that is passive ability. Hanzo can climb up any flat, vertical surface by pressing and holding the jump button while next to that surface. Hanzo can release the jump button and press it again to leap off the wall at any point during the climb. Hanzo's main method of moving around the map. Use side routes to appear in the areas your enemies least expect, as it will make it easier for you to get kills. Next ability is Sonic Arrows. When activated, Hanzo prepares a special Sonic Arrow, which is fired the next time he uses his Stormbow. After the Sonic Arrow impacts a solid surface, it sends out a series of sonic pulses for a brief period of time, revealing all nearby enemies by silhouetting them in red, akin to Widowmaker's infrasight. Hanzo can cancel Sonic Arrow's deployment by activating the ability again. Sonic Arrow allows Hanzo, and other teammates, to see enemies as they round corners, making it easier for him to prepare shots with his Stormbow. Sonic Arrow is relatively silent and has a greater arc in comparison to Hanzo's other arrows. Next ability is Storm Arrows. Upon activation, the Stormbow will be pulled to the maximum, and will be engulfed in wind. For a few seconds, Hanzo will be able to fire multiple arrows instantly, at full projectile speed, but reduce damage. This greatly, but briefly improves his fire rate and damage per second, making it a great tool for attacking enemies or barriers. The reduced damage means Hanzo can no longer kill certain enemies in one hit with headshots. Next is Lunge, which is so good. When Hanzo jumps in mid-air, he will jump horizontally in the direction currently held, much like Tracer's Blink. Useful for either engaging or disengaging from enemies, reach locations that are farther away, and get back to the fight faster. And finally his ultimate is Dragon Strike, Ultimate, Hanzo's ultimate ability. When engaged, Hanzo will shoot a unique arrow that summons a pair of twin dragons that will spiral and fly directly toward his sights. The enemy they come into contact with will suffer harm over time, since these dragons can traverse any solid surfaces or barriers. The closer an enemy is to the center of the twin dragons, the more damage they will take. The primary purpose of Dragon Strike is to deny an area of space, similar to a stronger Storm Arrow attack. Use it when your adversaries are engaged in combat in a small area from which they have few escape routes. Dragon Strike can provide incredibly high damage when paired with abilities that stop movement, such as Reinhardt's Earth Shatter or Zarya's Graviton Surge. Dragon Strike has the potential to be just as potent as ultimates like Pharah's Barrage. If the enemy Genji is close and shrewd enough, he can deflect Dragon Strike. This can be avoided by shooting it against barriers. And now the most important tips about Hanzo. Hanzo should be looking for clean attacks far away from the fight. Perhaps the best tip is to explore every map a bit. Players have many creative areas to safely snipe from. When the opponents figure out what's going on, move to another spot. Hanzo is more about kills than damage. Players need to develop their affinity for headshots. If they aren't necessarily natural, play with teammates that have slows, stuns, and disables that can give Hanzo the open look he requires to be one of the best DPS heroes. And not all tanks have shields, and those who lack them become very easy kills for Hanzo. Pharah, Echo, Mercy, and other flyers make for somewhat simple targets, as their predictable aerial movements can be timed out by a superior archer. Torbjorn's turret doesn't have Hanzo's range and can be wiped out with minimal effort. If tanks without shields aren't an issue, tanks with shields do have Hanzo's number. Unpredictable and mobile characters, such as Genji, Tracer, or Lucio are virtually inescapable once they catch up to Hanzo. Winston's health pool, shields, and mobility add up to Hanzo's worst hard counter. So what you think guys about this Hanzo's guide? Please comment and like and subscribe for more if it helps you. Bye guys, meet you in the next video.